Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 13 of the F1 2019 Haas Road to Glory career mode, where today we're here for my favourite track on the Formula 1 calendar. I know I say this every time we head to Spa, but it's just so cool. I love this place. So hopefully we can have a good solid race out here today. Obviously if you guys missed out on the last episode that went live yesterday, I would highly recommend going back and checking that out. You know, a very interesting race for all the right reasons for once on this Haas Road to Glory career mode. Obviously, if you want to go check that video out, click the eye at the top right-hand side of your screens. There'll be a link to both that video as well as the full playlist from this series so far, even I should say. So obviously, if you guys do want to go check all the videos out, if you've missed any of them so far, go back and have a look through all of those. But yeah, heading then into the Belgian Grand Prix, really looking forward to this one. You know, like I always say, one of my strongest tracks on the F1 calendar, and hopefully we can have a good race out here today. You know, after the highs of Hungary last time out, you know, usually in real life Formula 1 we have the summer break. Our summer break lasted about 24 hours, but that's just the way we go on the Haas Road to Glory road. And we've got even more parts going on to the car there. You can see the development has been completed for the redesigned brake ducts there. But yeah, so really happy with that one, just getting all of the aero upgrades on to this car as soon as possible. You know, the aero is now the strongest part of this car relative to the rest of the field, but I personally still think it's very important that we get this thing going as well here on F1 2019. But as you can see, having a look at the R&D, Racing Point even I should say, have now re-jumped us, and it's looking very close between ourselves, Renault, Racing Point and Williams here at this stage of the season. So we really do need to be piling on the upgrades throughout the second half of this World Championship, and also being wary of the regulation changes. And as you can see, because of Racing Point actually being able to jump us in the performance chart there, I did actually do a lot of the free practice sessions for once on this career there. You can see we actually picked up a good sort of, what, 300-400 points, if I'm not mistaken, by the end of the session. They're really happy with that one. I didn't actually realise how easy some of them are, in all honesty, hence why this time around I actually went through quite a lot of them, and maybe throughout the rest of the season we will try to pile on a few more upgrades onto the car once we know what the regulation changes are. That is absolutely critical at this stage of the season. Hopefully we'll find out that soon. But anyway, let's jump on then into the Belgian Grand Prix. It's time for quali.
It's qualifying time at Spa, one of the mightiest tracks on the Formula 1 calendar. Long straights, up and downhill, Eau Rouge as well. This track isn't for the faint-hearted. Looking at this field today, Anthony, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance? Maybe run the hard tyres and save some of the grippier tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that. And even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
So here we are then, ready for qualifying here at the Belgian Grand Prix, the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, a truly iconic and classic track in the world of Formula 1. And skipping right through to the end of my Q1 map, as you can see, breaking down just at the 100-metre board into the final corner. It never ceases to amaze me how late you can brake around this place and still get the car slowed down. Hopefully every single time there. But we set a 1 minute 45.39 there at the end of our Q1 run. A couple of small mistakes on that lap, but as you can see by the end of the session we did sail through into Q2. They're actually only a 10th clear of my teammate Romain Grosjean, all the way down in P14 there. You can see Sergio Perez right up to pace very quickly there, actually splitting the Ferraris towards the front of the field there. Fantastic job by him. But yeah, dropping out of Q1 though, Lando Norris, Giovinazzi, Kvyat, Sainz and Albon there. McLaren, Toro Rosso and Alfa Romeo now really the big three weak teams in at this career mode, and it's really starting to show there as both the Williams cars make it through into Q2 once again there. Fantastic job, what a resurgence it has been by the Williams team. You know, it really does feel, to me at least, like a bit of a feel-good story, especially as the fact, you know, if you do it, you know, if you drive for Williams, then fair enough, but just to see them actually getting back up and, you know, by themselves, you know, just through virtually the game is just so cool in my opinion as well. And I'm excited, you know, to potentially see some driver swaps later on down the line as well. You know, George Russell is slapping Kubica so far this season there. But towards the end of my Q2 run, you can see a 1 minute 44.859. They're actually split the Force Indias, or the racing points even, I should say, and that would be good enough to get us through into Q3 there. You can see Hamilton, though, really starting to up the pace. They're 1 minute 43.7 ahead of Bottas, Vettel, Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez, myself, Hulkenberg, Gasly, and Weber all move through into Q3 there. Devon Butler and my teammate Grosjean just miss out there ahead of Russell, Raikkonen, and Roglic, Kubica. But we're going to go on board then for my Q3 lap here. You can see out of the final corner, having to really take a very alternate line, just try and get the power down as you get ready to start a lap here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. A break just at the 100 metre board in towards turn 1 there, and you want to try and get the car all the way down into first gear there. Short shift back up through, trying to avoid the wheel spin. It is so critical on F1 2019, as well as actually changing up the gears about just over 12k here. Really important, actually, something that I've had to really adapt from F1 2018, not to completely rev out the gearbox here. You do want to actually be changing up. I wouldn't say early, 12,000 RPM is still quite a lot if you ask me, but yeah, obviously a bit earlier than we're used to there. See in Sector 1 just a 10th down from Lewis Hamilton, but effectively with it just being one corner and a straightaway there, you know, actually not too bad relative to how lacking we were down the straights in the early stages of the season. But as we come down in through the hairpin here, you can see trying to get the power down nice and early there, but we clip the outside curb, and that is us into the arm curve and almost rolling the car there. We definitely put it on its side. Not too sure what happened here at this stage of the session there. We're going to be able to look actually on the replay cameras, just have a look as to what happened here. You can see, looking at from the third person camera there, we just get the outside wheel out on the curb, nothing we could do, and the car, yeah, like I said, right over onto the side there. Really impressed that we didn't actually flip there, and somehow didn't lose a wheel or anything like that. I guess it was just the angle we went in square, you know, just clipped the wing there. And yeah, unfortunately, that, you know, there was no point in trying to continue on with a completely destroyed front wing there. But yeah, very lucky that we didn't do a whole lot more damage to this car there. But unfortunately, that was us out of Q3 for the Belgian Grand Prix there. Not really what I wanted. Sebastian Vettel, 1 minute 43.2, really pulled out the lap right when it mattered in the end there. Hamilton, Bottas, Charles Leclerc, Hulkenberg, Verstappen, Weber, Gasly, Sergio Perez, they're unfortunately getting slower as we went through qualifying. And yeah, unfortunately myself not able to get the lap in the end after that mistake. But let's jump on then into the race.
Who doesn't love the Belgian Grand Prix? It's the race, of course, that gave maiden pole positions to the Jordan and Force India teams, with Rubens Barrichello and Giancarlo Fisichella respectively. Jordan, of course, would then go on to better that here in 1998 with their first ever victory. And you can guarantee that something special will always happen at Spa-Francorchamps. But what that something is today is anybody's guess. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Nico Hulkenberg, and Verstappen, Weber, Perez, Mr. Monaco, and Roman Grosjean. Russell, Raikkonen, Robert Kubica, and Norris. Butler, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Giovinazzi, Daniel Kvyat, and Pierre Gasly. Sainz and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, remember to brake early for turn 1, as the pack's going to bunch up. There's plenty of runoff if things get too close.
So here we are then, ready on the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm very, very excited for this race, obviously. Really looking forward to this one. Hopefully one of our strongest tracks on the calendar, and we are actually going to be going for the 2-stop Grand Prix here today. But here we are then, on the grid. The 5 lights are now on here at the Belgian Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and away we go. They're actually after a horrendous start. You can see Russell and my teammate go straight past me on the run towards turn 1. Then we think about sending it back up the inside. They're actually getting a punt from Lando Norris behind us. Everyone, Constantine is up there. Raikkonen swoops around the outside as well. So that's been a horrendous start to this Grand Prix for ourselves. You can see the tyres are already at about 25% wear there. Not too sure how we've ended up with that one after qualifying there. But yeah, not the best start to this Grand Prix, and now we need to try and go all out attack mode as we come up the Kemmel Straight here. We really do want to be scoring points in this Grand Prix. Like I've said in the past, we want to be consistent point scorers in the second half of this season there, and much later on the brakes, right around the outside of Kimi Räikkönen there. We almost got around the outside of my teammate Grosen there, but get caught out on the curve. We do make the move work on the Sauberman there, the Alfa Romeo even I should say, and back up into P11 of this Grand Prix there. Aggressive off the start of this race, so I'm really happy we were able to make that one work as we now skip on to the end of lap 2 here. You can see struggling a little bit in the early stages, just trying to get the car back up to temperature, settle down into a rhythm as well. And you can see lap 3 already. The team won't be diving in for our first pit stop of the day here. Like I said, we will be going on to the 2-stop, softs to the mediums, and then once again on the mediums right the way through to the end of this Grand Prix. And Spa's a bit of a weird circuit, where it's such a long lap, you really can try and make the 2-stop work in your favour and just be, sort of a second and a half, 2 seconds quicker than the AI, especially through sort of the middle sector of the lap here. It is so critical to be at good pace all race long there, as we now have a look around the outside of my teammate Roman Grosjean. We're going to be side by side into the flash chicane there, and we do get up the inside, around the outside even I should say, move to the inside, and we are now up into P10 of this Grand Prix. We've got a huge gaggle of cars just in front of us here. Both of the racing points are having a bit of a ding-dong, with V-Bar just behind their head of George Russell here, so hopefully we can try and navigate these guys as quickly as possible there, but almost forgetting that we had to dive into the pit lane on the end of this lap. So we will get ourselves out of the dirty air there, but onto a harder compounded tyres. We really do need to push like absolutely crazy throughout the entirety of this Grand Prix. If we want this strategy to work, it worked last time. We started P10 in that Grand Prix, and we did come through for the race victory. I'll be honest, not quite expecting that same result here today, but it's always good to believe though, as we get a nice tiny pit stop this time around. They see Albon and Sainz right towards the rear of the field. They're struggling to keep up with absolutely anyone at this stage of the day there. Like I said, Toro Rosso and Mclaren so weak at this stage of the World Championship. We've almost seen a bit of a reverse between Williams and McLaren from IRL relative to F1 2019 the game. But yeah, I would love to see both of those teams right back up towards the mid-pack at the very least. I'd love to see, theoretically, pretty much everyone being able to fight for wins as well, but I think that's probably a bit too much to ask for on F1 2019, especially as we're only halfway through Season 1 of the career mode there. But yeah, now all over the back of Alexander Albon as we head in towards lap 5 there, and going very slowly through Stabilo there. As you can see, we're actually going to swoop right around the outside of the Toro Rosso there. He tries to hang the outer drive, but we make it work, and we now move ourselves up into P19 of this Grand Prix once again here. And our strategy at this stage of the day was literally just go all or nothing Kimi on absolutely everyone here. As you can see, trying to close it to the rear of Carlos Sainz. We're just going to send it up the inside in towards the final chicane there, slot past the McLaren man, and we now move ourselves back up into P18 of this Grand Prix here. Skipping on a couple of laps later, we can see at the end of lap 7, the pit stop window was now starting to take effect. We were starting to get a rough idea of where we would be in this Grand Prix. The answer would be clear of most of the midfield after our first stint of the day. They can see Sergio Perez exiting out the pit lane. They're a good couple of seconds behind myself, so we have really been able to make this work in the clear air there. You see Perez, yeah, just getting caught out, that huge gaggle of cars towards the front of the midfield there. Really did play into my hands very nicely at this stage of the day. As we skip on to the end of lap 8 there, Giovinazzi and Kvyat, luckily 2 cars that they now won't have to navigate in this Grand Prix as they dived in for their first and most likely only pit stop of the day there. You can see we're going to jump all the way back up into P9 of this Grand Prix here. Lando Norris as well, still yet to make a pit stop in this Grand Prix, as well as I think Devon Butler and Robert Kubica are a little bit further up the field at this stage of the day there. So looking good at the moment here, and now we'll be trying to get into the slipstream of Lando Norris here, and clearly Just goes to show why this Mclaren is so weak in this career mode so far there. Just nothing down the back straightaway there for poor Lando Norris there. And yeah, straight past him. Well, it was like he was standing still. A very, very easy move for ourselves. We now jump up into P8 of the Grand Prix. And like I said, by the time the pit stop window had started to take effect, we were all the way up to P5 at this stage of the day there. Valtteri Bottas had unfortunately had to retire from this Grand Prix, hence why we had made up the final place there. You can see, yeah, diving into the pit lane once again, lap 13 of this Grand Prix. We've basically done well, half a stint and half the race on that stint there, as you can see. But unfortunately getting caught out in the pit lane, just still struggling every so often with that gearbox there and trying to get out of the pit lane as quickly as possible. Where are we going to come back out? It's going to be out in about P14 of this Grand Prix, but still right on the cusp of the points here. You can see the points just, a couple of seconds up the road. They're a side-by-side through a Rouge. I don't want to be on board with that one there. I'm sure we're going to see some That's Riding On actually memes in this video as well now. But yeah, you can see really struggling. Really struggling, actually doing really well. The AI struggling though as they sort of trip over each other around this place. As once they get in the slipstream, it's really easy for them just re-jump each other every lap after lap, and it really does cost them a whole lot of time, as you'd probably expect as well here. So by the end of lap 13, trying to close it to the rear of Robert Kubica here in the Williams. We're actually going to have a look up the outside, maybe? Probably not this time around. Not really got the opportunity to go for that, but yeah, Kubica just so slow at this stage of the day. They can see we're actually pushing him on the exit of the corner there, on the exit stablo up the back straightaway, but not really straight. As you can see, coming up into Blocktrother, we're going to be side by side. Who's going to come out on top there? We squeeze out Kubica. We do give him the space, but we certainly give him the squeeze there. We're now up into P13, make that P12, dive it up the inside of Devon Butler, as well as we head in towards the final chicane there. And happy that we made that one right around the outside of him. We go there, and we're now up into P12 of this Grand Prix. They're actually making up more places as my teammate Romain Grosjean makes his second pit stop of the day there, and on the exit of turn 1 they're now trying to apply the pressure to Kimi Räikkönen as well here. What are we going to be able to do on the Alfa Romeo man here as he gets a little bit of a better run down towards Eau Rouge there and Radion? As you can see on the exit they'll get a huge tremendous overdrive there. You can see activating the DRS now, we're side by side with Räikkönen, Hulkenberg and Gasly going side by side just in front of us here. We're actually going to swoop around the outside of Räikkönen there. Hulkenberg gets hung out to dry, turns in on me, but we make the move work, thread the needle between the pair of them there. Not too sure how we came out on top in that situation there, but that's a double overtake once again in this Grand Prix. They're navigating our way through the mid-pack here, and you can see now we're all over the back of Pierre Gasly as well here, so potentially P8 is on the cards already in this Grand Prix. We've still got another 8 laps to go of this race here. Having to really sort of think about saving the ERS though at this stage of the day, as I'm sure you guys are probably well aware. Spa burns through the ERS like nowhere else because you really don't have that many big braking zones around at this place. There is now, as we come up towards Blanchimont once again though, you can see the Red Bull not quite getting the same run that the Williams did there, and pretty much clear past him there. A huge snap of oversteer at 195 miles an hour. They're not really ideal, but we do make the move work there, and usually I sort of think about giving the place back, but I think we didn't really gain any ground from them from overtaking. We sort of mainly got it from that horrible curve there as Gasly tried to squeeze us out over it there. You see, set our personal PB of the Grand Prix as well there, and by the end of lap 17 now we were trying to apply the pressure to one George Russell as well here, having a fantastic day out for Williams at this stage. So another 6 points I'm sure will be critical for them in the World Championship. If I'm not mistaken, it would actually mean they could jump McLaren as well for P8, if I'm not mistaken, in the World Championship. So I'm sure they'd love to see this one, but we're probably going to try and relegate them just a couple of points in this Grand Prix here. Are we going to be able to go for any sort of move on George Russell as we head in towards the final couple of corners of the lap here? He's going to be very close here. We're trying not to burn out too much of the ERS there, but George goes for a nice cheeky double lockup there, and that's going to give us the opportunity to lunge it to the outside of the Williams there. Round the outside we go, and that is us now up into P7 of this Grand Prix here, and making still good progress there. 6 seconds to Marcus Weber up the road there. Is certainly not going to be an easy stretch there. And 1 lap later, unfortunately, I just said about how Russell was having a good day out, and unfortunately the Williams would be forced to retire. Their heartbreak for George Russell, just 3 laps from home there at the end of the day there. I'm sure Williams are gutted with that one. Even 4 points would have been very useful in the World Championship for them there. But you can see, skipping on though to the final lap of the Grand Prix, nothing we can really do. Try and close up the gap to Weber just up the road. But Hamilton once again takes home another Grand Prix victory in this championship. Consistency is proving key here, and he is just stretching out that World Championship lead over Sebastian Vettel, over both Ferraris and his teammate Valtteri Bottas as well here. As we head in towards Blanchimont one final time though, what a drive it has been there. We did make the two-stop work. I'll be honest, I was a little bit sceptical at the halfway stage of this race, but you know, we just went absolutely all out as we head in towards the final couple of corners of this race there. Give it another 3-4 laps, we could have really been all over the back of Weber here, but out of the final corner, it's P7 at the end of the day there. Another solid 6 points in the bag. I'm really, really happy with that result. And like I said, consistency is going to be key in the second half of the season, so 6 points, really happy with that.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. So let's review the updated driver standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in amongst the pack, but it's the driver's job to capitalise on those opportunities, and he did so with a lot of skill.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So there we are then, having a look at the final race results. Lewis Hamilton takes home the race victory ahead of Charles Leclerc there. Sebastian Vettel from pole unfortunately finishes down in P3 ahead of Verstappen, Perez, Weber, myself, Gasly, Butler and Roman Grosjean. Does score points for Haas as well, so happy with that one at the end of the day. Robert Kubica, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Kvyat, Norris, Sainz and Albon all make it through to the end of the Grand Prix there, and two Mercedes powered units cars of George Russell and Bottas both don't make it through to the end of that Grand Prix there. In terms of the Drivers' World Championship, Hamilton now 25 points clear, a race victory ahead of Sebastian Vettel there, with Charles Leclerc further back. Bottas now his title chances are really fading away after that retirement there, 71 points back. But we jump Pierre Gasly now up into P6, best of the rest in the World Championship. They're only 30 points behind Max Verstappen as well there, as you can see. So having a really, really good day out of it so far. And yeah, I think the aim is probably to try and beat Pierre Gasly by the end of the World Championship there. You know, prove that Haas is better than Red Bull at least on one front there. And you can see no other changes actually in the World Championship. In terms of the constructors though, Ferrari 8 points now clear of Mercedes there. We're closing up to Racing Point as well. They're 102, just 9 back from Racing Point as well. So hopefully we can try to close up that gap as well. There we are then, guys. That has been the end of the Belgian Grand Prix. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Get yourself subscribed if you're new around here as well, and I will hopefully see you guys next time for Monza, the Festival of Speed.
Let's have